Students, we have studied various sources of energy in our previous video. Today, let's start learning about fossil fuels, which are the conventional source of energy. Students, you may be wondering what these fossil fuels are, after all, and what are their uses. Fossil fuels are formed due to the compression of dead plants and animals, buried deep under the earth for millions of years. For example, coal, crude oil, and natural gas, etc. Fossil fuels are important non-renewable sources of energy. Carbon is the indispensable and major constituent of these fuels. Observe these pictures. What common sources of energy do they use? You are right. All these appliances use fossil fuels. Steam engines use coal. Car and scooter use petrol and diesel. Water heaters use natural gas. Since the beginning of mankind, we have been using fossil fuels to generate heat, light, and electricity for various purposes. Fossil fuels are the primary sources for generating electricity and petroleum products in the world today. Accordingly, fossil fuels are also called the primary sources of energy. Today, over 85% of our energy demands are met by combustion of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are excellent sources of energy, as a large amount of chemical energy is stored in fossil fuels. This stored chemical energy is converted into various other forms of energy, such as electrical, heat, light, and mechanical energy. You may be surprised to know that approximately 1.9 billion tons of coal are burnt in a year to generate electricity in the world. You may be interested in knowing how fossil fuels are formed. Students, as you know, fossil fuels includes coal, crude oil, and natural gas. So let's first see the formation of coal. The formation of coal takes millions of years, which is why it is non-renewable natural resource. It was formed around 300 million years ago, when Earth was covered with swampy forests. When the plants of these forests fell into the nearby swamps, there became a thick layer of dead plants. As the time passed, more and more such plants died and various such layers were formed one over the other. The top layer exerted pressure on the layer below. Due to the lack of oxygen under the water, the dead plants do not get decayed completely. Instead, they turn into a layer of peat coal. With the passage of time, the layers of sediments get deposited over the peat coal. Later on, high pressure and temperature turn the peat coal into a dark brown coal called lignite. Sediments keep accumulating over the lignite and the pressure keeps increasing. This changes the lignite coal into bituminous coal. This bituminous coal is soft coal. In due course of time, high temperature and pressure turns bituminous into black anthracite coal. Students, now let us see the formation of petroleum and natural gas. When the living organisms of the sea died, they settled to the bottom of the sea. These bodies got covered with layers of sand and clay. Due to the lack of oxygen in the water, the dead organism could not decay completely. They kept on accumulating, making it rich in organic matter. Over a period of time, sediments got deposited over the organic matter. Later on, the high pressure and temperature on organic matter broke down it to form petroleum and natural gas. As petroleum and natural gas were less dense than the water, the petroleum and gas migrated upwards and filled the pores of permeable rocks. Oil fields and gas fields were formed in the places where impermeable rocks stopped their further migration. Natural gas is also found in independent deposits within the ground, as well as from other sources too. Although natural gas is a fossil fuel, it is cleaner than gasoline, but produces carbon dioxide, the main greenhouse gas. Students, use of fossil fuels as source of energy has both advantages and disadvantages. So students, we have seen that fossils are formed when dead plants and animals get buried under earth. Due to pressure of Earth's crust, they get converted to coal, crude oil, or natural gas. All of them can be used to generate different forms of energy like heat, light, electricity, etc. and so are called fossil fuels. Since they take millions of years to form, they are non-renewable source of energy. In the next video, we will see advantages and disadvantages of fossil fuels.